And today I'm saying goodbye to A Creative Co. for good. No, I'm not going anywhere. I'm simply pivoting into more of a personal brand. So, hi, in case we haven't met, I'm Amber Figlow, and it's just me here now. I recently went through an entire rebrand, a photo shoot, new website, like the works. And today I want to give you a behind the scenes look at why I decided to switch over into a personal brand and kind of all of the workings behind it and like how I did it. So, to give you a bit of context and like where it all started and how I even got to where I am today with A Creative Co., we got to go back a little bit. To give you a quick rundown, I've been in the marketing industry for over 10 years now. In college, I was a pre-med major and quickly switched it to being a business major with a concentration in marketing because I absolutely hated chemistry. Right out of college, I decided to join a corporate marketing team for a very large staffing company and quickly realized that that's not where I wanted to be. So I moved more into side hustles and freelancing, and it led me to one of my favorite jobs I've ever had, which was a marketing manager for a clothing boutique. And being a solo marketer for an entire company was fun, but it definitely had its ups and downs. And basically what that job led me into was running my own company because I knew if I could do this as, for the most part, a solo marketing manager for an entire company, that I could branch out and do this on my own for other small businesses. And at the end of 2018, I decided to step out on my own, and at the very beginning of 2019, I actually founded A Creative Co. And A Creative Co. really did just start out as an experiment on Instagram. I started a brand new Instagram account and I said, okay, for the next 30 days, I'm going to try a bunch of different tactics and strategies and report them back to my followers. So at the end of every day, I basically told them, hey, I gained this many, I lost this many, here's what I did, here's my approach. And at the end of 30 days, I actually gained 500 followers. And it's really funny because getting into that journey, I didn't know what I wanted to do. I didn't know what kind of services I wanted to offer. So I literally came up with the name A Creative Co. It is literally Amber's Creative Company. And I just shortened it to A Creative Co. because at the time I was doing a bit of photography, I was doing a bit of design. I was really learning a lot more about social media marketing and content strategy and things like that. And I didn't know what I wanted to offer. And over the last 5 years, A Creative Co. has seen quite a few different changes where in the beginning, yes, I was offering like a one-stop marketing shop where I do everything from content creation all the way through to actually marketing a business on social media. I even dabbled in paid ads. I literally did everything. Eventually finding my niche with organic content creation and social media marketing for small businesses. I ran it as a boutique social media agency for quite a few years. And then over the last year or so, I have really been feeling a pull towards becoming more of a personal brand since I am no longer in the world of having like one-on-one clients day in, day out, month in, month out. So now let's get into why I am switching into a personal brand. As I've kind of mentioned, I have been out of the social media marketing world and having those one-on-one clients. I've been out of that world for quite a bit now. And basically, I have shifted my entire business into serving just one client as a content director. And then I'm offering other small products, digital products here and there to really help other small business owners through those paid products and just through my free content. I also have other income streams like speaking and brand deals and things like that. But having A Creative Co. as a brand just doesn't make sense for what I'm doing anymore. And over the last year, it's been really hard to make this decision because A Creative Co. I've built such a name for myself under that brand, but I know that it's also limiting me for future opportunities. So the ultimate goal here of why I'm switching is that this brand, Amber Figlow, just using my name, is going to follow me throughout my career no matter what I decide to do. And long-term goals, I would love to be more of a thought leader, more of a public speaker. I really do enjoy that side of my business. And there is something to be said about just having my name out there and not having to be like, I'm Amber Figlow of A Creative Co. There's just something about that that just feels so right. Because at the end of the day, 10 to 15 years from now, who knows if I'm even going to be producing the level of content I'm producing? Who knows if these social platforms are even going to be around? We don't know what the landscape of marketing is going to look like. But what I do know is that I will always carry myself throughout my career. I could even pivot my career completely and still have a brand name behind it. And I want people to follow me along on my journey, to come into my audience knowing me and not knowing just this big company of A Creative Co. So no matter where I'm going, no matter what I'm doing, no matter what I'm creating or any pivots that I make, I want to bring you along for the journey, and I can do so under the Amber Figlo brand. So what are the steps that I took that actually got me to this point? Well, again, it took a year of deliberation, if I'm being completely honest. I went back and forth, talked to so many friends. A lot of people think this is not the smartest decision, but I know deep down in my gut that this is what I want to do. And the first step was actually hiring a brand designer. And I secured the best designer I possibly think I could, given like what I was looking for. So while I'm going to show you guys the brand itself, I basically came to Megan and I was like, hey, I really want to switch over into a personal brand. I want this to be me, but a little bit more elevated, a little bit edgier. But the one thing I wanted to keep from A Creative Co. is that signature brown amber color that I love so much and that I don't see a lot of my other competitors or people in my industry using. And that is something that felt so much like me. But also as I made this transition, it would be easy for my audience to follow. Like you guys can still recognize my content quite easily if you see that amber brown color. So basically the prompt that I gave her, we went back and forth with a ton of different questions and questionnaires, and we talked a lot, and she really got down to what I needed and came up with this really fun kind of quirky vintage-like brand. And one of the things I told her, I was like, something that inspires me is like, sounds so weird, is like cigarette branding, like the Marlboros, things like that. And I was like, you know what? I want it to look like I smoke cigarettes, but I don't smoke cigarettes. And I think she absolutely nailed it here. And she helped me step out of my comfort zone with some of the typography, some of the iconography. And she also helped me step out of my comfort zone with new colors to kind of inject into my brand too. And then came revamping the website, kind of revamping my offerings. And all of that, to be honest, is still a work in progress. All of the backlinking we're still working on because there's a lot under the A Creative Co. umbrella that needs to go back and get updated. Updating all my social links, going back through blog posts, and just making sure everything redirects to this new brand and redirects to this new website. And it's going to be an ongoing process. And what I'm really doing with this brand is just setting myself up for success in year 2024 and beyond. I really want to distinguish myself as the expert for content strategy and content systems, workflows, and things like that, at least for the time being. That's what feels right. Okay, so I want to give you guys a quick preview at what this process looked like and what my brand looks like behind the scenes. So when I first kind of gave everything to Megan, these are some of the big inspiration pieces. I wanted it to be a bit more grungy. I loved the idea of like playing cards and cigarette branding, and there was just something about like this elevated edginess that I really wanted to incorporate in my brand. So we can see the mood board along with her proposed colors that eventually turned into my overall branding. So we definitely kept, like I've already mentioned, I kept that amber brown. We updated it, made it a little bit less red, I guess you could say, and it leans a little bit warmer. And then she added in that mustard color. And it has been so fun trying to play around with this. And then we kept everything else relatively neutral. And, this is just something that gave a good balance to my brand while also sticking true to like what my vision was. So we can use these colors in a ton of different ways. And this is an example of what a website might look like. But basically, we went with a very fun, like vintage Western handwritten font. And she incorporated it throughout all of my logos. So me as the playing card with my glasses and, just kind of symbolizes just something super fun and edgy. And all kinds of different color variations along with some secondary logos. As much as I love the playing card, obviously we want to have variation in our logos for branding. And so she just did some with my name. And then the one on the right where it's a circle, I don't know, it kind of gives me the vibes of like old vintage soccer team or just like a fun, almost like car logo or something. I don't know. There's just so many good things here in this branding and just so many different ways to use it. Again, following through with like that playing card motif, the little hearts to make it look like it was an ace, but of course then have my initials in there and just more color variations. And as I'm like going through this rebrand, it's been so fun playing with the different color options. Obviously, you guys are still going to see that brown throughout my brand, but I'm really going to have fun playing around with the yellows and using more iconography because she did such a great job with some of the icons and illustrations. And we actually kept one of my main fonts, the Poppins. Poppins has been with me through my last rebrand years ago. And it's just such a great font and just incorporating that handwritten font. And then there's also one that kind of looks a little bit more, you guys have probably already started to see it throughout my branding, looks a little bit more robotic. But there's just super fun patterns, decided to incorporate both my dogs. Both of them are named Jax. So we just had like a fun play. I wear Converse a lot. And again, she kind of ran with the cigarette motif of, making me some matches and lighters and my favorite curse words and things like that. So it was just overall such a fun process, and this is just the quick little sneak peek of my brand. And that's basically it. It's been such a great run with A Creative Co., and now I'm really ready to step into this next phase of my business and my career. So follow me wherever you like to consume content. I have all of my updated links below so that you guys can check it out. Otherwise, I'll see you guys next week, and don't forget to hit subscribe.